All right, the next video is something that I was really, really excited to watch today specifically. It is how 100 player server experience like how is the 100 player server experience like in Star Citizen 317 PTU? And the reason I think it's really big is because I was really hard on Burks because I think Burks did a couple 100 player server things, got tons of viewers, riding super high, and started like pushing at CIG. Like I think he made like a Twitter poll and stuff like that. And I'm not 100% sure if 100 player servers are a good thing for the game overall, or are they just a good thing for content creators, right? And Eradicator, who's somebody I don't think we've reacted to any videos from him just yet, did a video of what the actual player experience is like, and it's not the not necessarily the you were all in one place, because the big issue with Star Citizen servers is when everybody's spread out at the moment, and that's the reason for server meshing. That's why we need server meshing, is when we're all spread out and a server is taking over everyone. So Eradicator 100 player server experience test. Let's check it out.
Star Citizen Alpha 3.17.2 is seeing some very interesting testing in the PTU as
No,
on
it's not PC, don't
July
worry about it.
19th, 2022,
Just on
the
stream.
player cap was risen to 100 players per server. So, what kind of feedback should we give CIG? How did it work? Well, let's check it out in today's video.
All right.
Alright guys, let's get started with some feedback, and the first thing that I want to talk about is how amazing it is to see more players around. I mean, even here at the clinic, which is at Everest Arbor, where I started playing yesterday, I saw so many people with, checking in rooms and selecting the place as their starting location. I have never seen the clinic so busy. And it was just something that normally I would not even notice or pay attention, but there was definitely a lot of people here, and it just gave...
Yeah, in the end, like, Star Citizen is putting like NPCs to make the servers feel alive, but the only thing that's going to make the game feel alive is experiences like this.
This immersion that I was in a place that was alive. It was already quite a difference maker already with all these people doing their own thing. Of course, sometimes we could see some people who died here. Great opportunity for looting. I will definitely take that railgun for me. Thank you very much. It's the PTU. I don't think I would have done that in the PU, but
I mean, I would have.
We can always have a little bit of fun, right? So that's what it means.
Well, that's already the first bad experience, I would argue, is when you die at a landing zone, the server is supposed to pull your body in to the inventory, basically. So it's like the guards grabbed your body and recovered all your stuff for you. So when you die in an armistice zone or a landing zone, that's what's supposed to happen. Well, first problem, that didn't happen. I saw this happen at Grimhex one time. I think on the live server, actually.
Also, more players means more looting opportunities, more interaction with players as well. And speaking of interaction with players, there's been plenty of cases in which normally I would never meet any other players, delivery missions, or just casually traveling from one place to another, or doing my own business in landing zones, but with 100 player per server. And this was indeed, I was in a couple of servers here with 98, 99, 100 people, and really it feels like the whole universe is busting with life compared to when you only have half of these.
Bro, our standards are too low, dude. He's showing an example of 2 people at our corp.
Same here, still at our area 18, getting to see a little bit of traffic as well, other players coming and going, which is normally not the most popular place to go, so that's
true,
really,
though. It isn't the most popular place.
And there's going to be this other
certainly
ship
not in the
that will be
PTU.
coming down the atmosphere. So look at this constellation going down here. That is just amazing. These are moments like these that I wish that we could see more often in Star Citizen, and I definitely had quite a few of those when playing with 100 players in a server, so that was very satisfactory. You can see there's another arrow there going just under that cutlass. I noticed that the ship terminals worked. Now, this is something that does not always happen. Apparently, according to the patch notes, they can still be unresponsive and send your ship in an unknown state. I've played for over 6 hours in the PTU with 100 people per server, and it hasn't been the case for me. Missions also worked for me quite well. They updated well. I was able to take all kinds of missions that I normally take, which means bunker mission.
I've heard differing reports with this, but that's more positive than straight negative reports. So
combat missions, some discrete delivery missions as well. Everything was updating on time. I was able to do all my pickups properly. The missions were actually refreshing themselves. The only thing that I noticed was that I didn't have any combat beacons. So it does seem like either if there were more people, then more people were taking the combat beacons, and thus they were not available. And because they were not available, because a lot of people took them, then the quantum simulation decided that they were no longer needed. So perhaps that's the reason why. But it was something that I noticed here, and I wish that they could have been a little bit more combat beacons, because these are fun. So how do bunker missions work? Because in the patch notes it also says that NPCs are not responsive and that nothing is really happening in those bunkers, right? So let's just see how it is as I am making my
elevator bug
into the bunker. So the elevator did work. Now in the latest patch from today, apparently bunker elevators do not work, but that was from yesterday's patch. And so I was surprised to see that they were already hostile NPCs that had already been there. Normally they tend to be coming a little bit later from the spawn closets, but it seems like they did come a little bit earlier. Still quite unresponsive. They did not shoot me at all. And overall I could just take them down with melee attacks, just sneak behind them, and even when they're facing me, they're not shooting. So yeah, not that great. The combat experience, again, not fantastic, but you know, it's not really much of a difference compared to the normal 50 people server that we have in the PU. So
yes,
kind of the same,
and that's the kind of argument here is, and I think it's a really valid argument, is the detriment of having a 100-player server so much worse than the current situation we have now? And I think he did the proper test and is kind of showing that it's like, well, it's basically the same crap that we had before. So maybe the argument is you might as well just up the servers and then maybe we get more player interaction. I don't think we're going to get that much player interaction, because 100-player servers, still in the amount of space that the Stanton system takes up, doubling it, we'll see. I mean, I don't know if it'll make that much of a difference. But if it's not making that big of a difference to the crappy NPCs, like, might as well try, maybe?
The looting mechanics worked quite well as well. I was able to transfer items from one container to another with no issue at all again. So that also seems to be working quite fine here with 100 people per server. So it's really something that we have to look out in this in these conditions. Is the server condition? Is the server deteriorating? Is there maybe more lag, more desync? But as far as I'm concerned, everything seems to be working quite fine. There you go. I'm just picking this box. Oh, so someone's shooting me here. I'm just casually picking up this box. And I've got no lag. The actions are just happening the way they should be. Flying between buildings, I was trying that too. This is
that's
also
debatable.
The delivery mission that I just took
FPS
here with the delivery
player to player,
area 06. So not area 18, area 06. And because the restriction, the no-fly zone is less restrictive here, I was able to fly between buildings. I was thinking maybe there would be some dissing, maybe the ship would explode for no reasons. These are things that have happened to a lot of us in the past in Star Citizen, right? Well, not this case. Again, was able to fly normally between buildings the way it should be and have a smooth little landing right here on this platform, which did load, by the way. In the past we used to have some loading issues with assets not showing when they were supposed to be showing, but no, it's been working quite fine. And
I mean,
delivery
deliveries
box, let's see if
have
it
had
works.
issues
I'm
before.
going to deliver that box right here on this platform, putting it here inside, and that's basically it. Again, that delivery mission did work quite well. Now, the reason why I'm doing this video, of course, is because CIG did ask
I'm waiting for it to update.
us, what we do normally. Is there any difference between before 100 players
A little
and
slow,
after
but
100
not
players?
crazy slow.
How is performance degrading? But for me, it's been working very well. I've had a very pleasant experience overall in the PTU with such circumstances, and also the frames per second are also quite nice. Speaking of frames per second, smooth quantum transitions. Now, normally you guys have been noticing that as well in my videos. Every time I arrive at the planet from quantum travel, I always have a little freeze, and sometimes I try to edit that in the videos to make it look a little bit nicer, but this is not edited. What you are seeing here is the real footage, and I'm having a perfect smooth transition from Quantum Drive to Crusader. It is the very first time that I am experiencing such a smooth transition.
That's probably a client-side change, but also just generally a cool thing to add.
From Quantum Drive to Crusader.
I've had that problem for a while.
No idea, again,
I think all of us have.
How that is possible, but it was in that server with 100 people again, traveling from one place to another, even licking that high upper atmosphere of Crusader. Not a problem at all. We're going to again here arrive at ArcCorp, see if it's going to be working fine, and you are going to be seeing here again smooth transition, no freezing at all.
Beautiful.
And that is something that I had never experienced in Star Citizen before. We'll try here another one.
Oh, there it is.
It's working again just fine. So that is these were very
What do you mean it's working just fine? The stutters are literally on the screen.
Pleasant surprises from that patch. I'm also going to be reporting to CIG because they again they need to have our feedback.
Those
now,
are those stutters.
They did say that the plan is not to have 100 people per server in 3.17.2, but I don't know why, because so far what I have personally experienced as a player has been
insane
wonderful.
Fuel
now,
prices.
There's one drawback. Look at this, guys. I'm going to refuel my Mercury Star Runner at Area 18, a place that had a lot of traffic. And look at the price here. Normally, I pay 14 Alpha UEC per... Look at the price here. And
let's take a look at what his hydrogen was at when he landed. Barely... a little bit off the top. It was oh, you can't see. It was like just a sliver off the top, guys. So not much there at all. By the way, I tried to mute the mic and I muted my music button by accident. Apologize.
And look at the price here. Normally I pay 14.
And, oh, let me move myself completely, guys. Hold up. So you guys can see it. So sliver off the top on hydrogen. And the price,
traffic, and
5,000.
Look at the price here. Normally I pay 14 Alpha UEC per SCU, 12-14, but
Repair
this is a whopping 39 Alpha UEC.
Wow.
per unit here. This is absolutely ridiculous. That is the most expensive I have.
Bro, that is not ridiculous. That's awesome. How do we not love that? Why are we not loving that? Like, now you go, okay, buying hydrogen fuel somewhere else and selling it to that station now is a viable trading scenario. But you can't do that, right? So
have seen for fuel. So I don't know if that's because of player cap, but that was worth noting. Bots are still acting weird. Nothing, but that's actually normal. They're still T-posing, as you can see here.
I mean, his frames are quite
balconies.
low.
Nothing special. There's been also quite a lot of bots that have worked well as well. So it's not much of a big deal. I know that some people were saying on Spectrum, for example, that bots maybe should be removed, but no, it's been working fine. The coffee vendor. Hey, the coffee vendor, which has been quite a problem for me in 3.17.
It also says 39 SCU. Was that the volume, not the unit? It might have been the volume,
I was able to order a drink, and she was then able to perform her drink with almost no delay again, almost no lag. That the animation is still a little bit janky, as you could see with her legs, but
it always
she's
has
still
been
doing her things. At the beginning, she was not really
Again, it's my understanding that the change recently took NPCs off of the server and like decoupled them, right? So the server frame rate shouldn't affect these people as much.
talking, but then she started to be a little bit more talkative, and I gotta say that again, the experience that I had here with the coffee vendor is the type of experience that I was expecting to have in Star Citizen with, you know, these kind of NPCs. And it's a good indication to show how servers are working, because if servers are broken and are not working so well, those NPCs, the barmen, the coffee vendors, are going to be completely broken. But it's not really been the case here in this particular scenario. Now, not everything was smooth. For example, I was definitely thirsty, but I was also hungry. So I thought, I'm gonna buy this burrito here. And there was no option to quick buy the burrito here for some reason.
I mean, the option was there, but it's not working, is what he means.
Or if it's because of the server, but the only way I could buy the burrito here was through the MobiGlass. So yeah, that is a little annoyance here that I would report. But come on, it's really absolutely nothing to make a fuss about here. Plus,
yeah, this wouldn't be a reason to argue against 100-player servers.
Click on it, and did it work? And you're gonna see, yes, it did. I was able to eat my burrito, and the vendor was also talkative and speaking to me at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah, pretty good feedback.
That's because he was still holding the cup
so far from this PTU phase here with 100 people per server. That was an amazing experience. As you can see, I'm also able to equip and unequip. It's still working quite well. Now, there are obviously still 30k errors, as you can see here. These things
I don't think
happen.
that's a 100-player cap thing necessarily.
In 6 hours of game time, I have only had 130k, which I think is a pretty decent score. But let me know in the comment section down below, guys, to get a win, a Legionnaire, of course. If you can answer the question and subscribe to the channel, you'll be in for the contest. Have you tried the servers with 100 people? How did it go for you? Let me know in the comment section down below. Also, feel free to join us on Discord. We've got a lovely community there as well. And we've got another giveaway. It's a retired bomber with a LTI. All you have to do to enter is to enter our video sharing contest, or just enter your name if you're a YouTube Job membership program or a Patreon member. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much to the Gentleman, Captain Snake, Eric Own, Geek Citizen, and Dr. Fobin. It's the Eradicator. I will see you guys later.
Cool. So, interesting tests. I think, you know, obviously CIG is going to have the metrics and make the right choice. The thing that I find the most interesting, and yeah, I think the most like interesting thing to add to this is you got guys like Eradicator, you got guys like Burks, you got guys like a bunch of people I saw on Twitter at least begging CIG for 100-player servers, right? And I find it hilarious because I think they're obviously looking out for their best interests and the way that they play the game, right? And maybe not necessarily for everyone else. But the more important thing to note is that they're going at CIG about it so much because they don't trust CIG to make the right decision. They feel like they have to speak it out and say it out loud and prove their point so much because they don't think CIG would do the right thing, right? And it just shows the lack of trust still from the community and the dev team to do the right thing, the fun thing. And that's kind of what I find interesting out of everything is well, I don't know what the right thing is, right? Because it's hard to determine what the right thing is when you don't have all the facts. So, you go to court or whatever, and you're supposed to gather all the facts from both sides. The issue here is the only facts that we can see are from the community side. Wow, this was fun. I got 100 players and I saw a bunch of fireballs landing on a planet on TheEradicator stream. What a cool thing. You don't have the actual metrics of how many server crashes, how many times things failed, or what's the server frame rate at with 100 players versus not 100 players, what other bugs are being reported by other, like things like that. And then I trust CIG to make the right decision, and I think I'm just going to let it happen. I think I was kind of going at Burks a little bit too much on this, and I'm really happy that Eradicator did this specific test. I don't play at a time of day where I can get in a server that was 100 full. The best I got was 80 something, and everything seemed okay. So it's one of those where I worry about the player who's like the miner that's out in the asteroid belt that is being having a really detrimental and negative situation because Captain Burks or Tarada or whomever, name whatever streamer, is doing like this 50 on 50 event. You know what I mean? And I don't think it would be fair for CIG to say, you know what, these 50 on 50 events are really awesome. Let's just go with it at the detriment of like your average player who's just, playing the game by themselves or with a couple other people, right? And that's where I'm like, all right, I think CIG will make the right decision. Now, the thing is, I'm noticing last night, I believe there was a 100-player test Siege of Orison. It looks like they want to really see how it's going. Yeah. And it might really be a thing. So we'll have to see. But in general, I don't know how much it'll help. I think it'll help out content creators a lot, and there'll be some like epic moments. But in general, I thought it was an amazing example of when you had 100 players in one place of what server meshing will be like. So 100 players in one area is essentially what server meshing should be, where let's say we're all around Everus Harbor where Eradicator started, then Microtech gets streamed out, Crusader gets streamed out, ArcCorp gets streamed out. We're all in one place, and it went okay. It went pretty well, and I think it's a good sign for Star Citizen's future, and we'll just have to see as we climb up those steps to get there. But in general, this seems like a really exciting time, and I'm just excited to see what road we take. Do we stay at 50? Do we go to 100? And what happens over the next 3 months? We'll have to see.